Call to order the February 2nd, 2026 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Sean Carr. Gwendolyn Sykes.
Present.
George Rawls.
Here.
Bill Yoakum.
Present.
First, Ms. Ring, will you read the first public hearing?
Good evening, members of the Board of Zoning Appeals. My name is Amy Ring. I'm the county's Community Development Director. The first item for you tonight is a variance request with the application number BZA 25-1, located at 24030 Ennis Mill Road. The landscaping request is for a variance from the landscaping requirements in the zoning ordinance, which I'll describe in just a moment. The applicants are Robert M. and Hollis G. Bridges, who are the property owners. The address is on Ennis Mill Road, which is Route 690. The tax map number is 5501035A. The zoning district is Rural Agriculture Conservation. The specific request is to Section 8-1005F1A1A, which are the frontage zone requirements in the zoning ordinance, as well as Section 8-1005F3, which is the parking zone landscaping ordinance requirements. And this variance would allow no frontage zone or parking zone landscaping on the portion of the property occupied by the kennel at Five Forks. The property in total is 10.3 acres. The owners received an after-the-fact conditional use permit for commercial kennel on 2 acres in April of 2024. The kennel is a commercial use which requires a site plan for all site improvements like stormwater management, parking, utilities, lighting, and landscaping. All new commercial uses must install the required landscaping based on their type and location. The applicants submitted a preliminary site plan after the conditional use permit approval in July of 2024. The variance request then came in after that for the landscaping requirements in March of 2025. This is a location map showing the location of the property on Ennis Mill. As you can see, just to the right are agricultural farm fields, actually to the west, north, and south, as well as one large rural residential lot to the south. The variance request would be to, again, allow no frontage zone or parking zone landscaping on the portion, just on the portion belonging to the kennel. The owners state that installing the landscaping will negatively impact their adjacent hay operation, as well as the ability to properly utilize the property for their dog training. The owners also state they can't afford the time and cost of the extra maintenance of the landscaping, including the initial cost of installation, and that they believe that the beauty of the open natural landscape should not be altered. This is some more specific information on the actual landscaping requirements, both in the frontage zone and the parking zone. The frontage zone ordinance requires 1.25 points of landscaping per linear foot along the road frontage on roads with less than 50 feet of right-of-way. Based on the length of the road frontage for the kennel, the ordinance would require 483 landscaping points for the site. Large deciduous trees, for example, are worth about 30 points each brand new. The applicant proposes to, rather than install the trees, the applicant proposes to use seasonal plantings and shrubs to be installed around their sign with a total of 100 points to be used in place of the frontage zone landscaping. The parking zone requirements are the landscaping zone that is immediately adjacent to parking lots and drive aisles, and they would like a full variance from those landscaping requirements. So this is a site plan showing the kennel site. This was attached in your staff report. And if you would like me to come back to this later and explain it to more detail, I will certainly can do that. So we did do a site visit and took some pictures of the site itself, and this is showing the front of the kennel building in the parking lot. This is, again, is another picture of the parking lot where the drive aisle from the entrance comes into the parking in front of the kennel building. This is a picture of the drive aisle going out towards the gate. And this is a picture of the frontage zone that's in front of the kennel, right in, between the kennel and Ennis Mill. And again, this is just another picture taken from the front, showing the picture of the kennel in the background. So as you know, the ordinance does require that we make specific findings in order to authorize a variance. The first finding is that the property interest for which the variance is being requested was acquired in good faith, and any hardship was not created by the applicant for the variance. According to county real estate records, the property owners acquired the property in August of 2021. The applicant received approval for an agricultural building in 2023. However, the applicant began a commercial kennel business in the building without receiving a certificate of occupancy or permits. Staff finds that the hardship is self-created because any other new commercial business is required to comply with all permitting requirements. The second finding is the granting of the variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property and nearby properties in the proximity of the geographical area. Staff finds that the lack of required landscaping will not be detrimental to the adjacent properties or uses in the vicinity. The third finding is that the condition or situation of the property concerned is not of so general or recurring in nature as to make reasonably practicable the formulation of a general regulation to be adopted as an amendment to the ordinance. The variance request does occur on a general and recurring basis. It may be considered reasonably practical to address this type of situation for new businesses. Other new small and large businesses alike are required to meet all landscaping requirements. Fourth one is the granting of the variance does not result in a use that is not otherwise permitted on the property or constitute a change in the zoning classification of the property. The proposed variance would not result in a use nor otherwise that wouldn't be otherwise permitted on the property. The 2-acre site will continue to be used as commercial kennel. Then the last finding is that the relief or remedy sought by the variance application is not available through a special exception process or a modification of a zoning ordinance, according to the Code of Virginia. Staff's finding was that the relief sought by the variance application is not available through a special exception process or through a modification of the zoning ordinance at the time of the application. Based on the perimeter set forth in the statutory case law of the Commonwealth of Virginia, staff finds that the applicant has not demonstrated that the strict application of the current zoning ordinance would impose an undue hardship by preventing the use of the site as a commercial kennel. Staff recommends denial of the proposed variance. I will be here following the public hearing to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll open the public hearing. If anybody wants to come forward, including the applicant, like to speak for or against, come forward. Yes, sir. The clerk's going to give you the oath.
Do you swear or affirm the information you are about to present to the Allouette Board of Zoning Appeals during this public hearing is the truth?
I do.
I do.
Where's the picture?
State your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Robert Bridges. My address is 20262 Orbit Road, Windsor, Virginia. With this presentation I have, there's a little bit of confusion on what they were actually asking for compared to, I thought they were asking for more. So I'm going to skip over a couple things in here, but we're going to cover the things that they were asking for. With the landscaping appeal, frontage zone, we're proposing to place a flower bed with the signage at the northeast corner of the property, which would enhance the aesthetic while maintaining the open and natural landscape. We believe that planting shrubs or trees along the fence line near the road would detract from the cherished rural character of the area. Additionally, such plantings would obstruct our ability to properly maintain the road frontage, as it would make it difficult to mow. The extra time required for weed eating would place an undue burden on our resources and is not feasible for us. I'll skip forward right here. If you can see in this left-hand picture right there, basically the amount of points that they're asking for here, we would almost have to plant trees to go down that front edge. And with that being said, I can't fit a lawnmower down there if I plant trees at that point. So that would all have to be weeded. And I can't tell you exactly how many feet that is, but it's a lot. It's just, you know, the amount of time that it would take, it'd kill us. Over on the right-hand side in this picture to the right where that fence is kind of catty-cornered right there, that's where we're proposing to put the sign. I know that the sign, you know, has nothing to do with what we're asking for here, but we're going to, you know, get the permit to do that, and we're asking to put bushes around that and plants and make it, you know, look nice and presentable. And asking that would be, you know, what we could have up there instead of all those trees and stuff being in the way. Let me see here. All right, I'm gonna skip all this for what they were asking for. Impact on the training grounds. The landscape requirements with the north side, which is what I thought they were asking for, but also around the parking area, the landscaping requirements also pose a threat to the functionality of our training grounds. Our dogs are trained in open land, and the additional landscaping would severely limit the space available for training exercises. It would reduce the size of the training area and would hinder our ability to provide the quality training for the dogs that you know, we need to produce, that, you know, help keep this facility running. These are views of the training grounds that you can see here. All this area, we run from, if you were standing right next to this fence, we run dogs all out in front, across the parking lot, to the left, basically anywhere across that driveway. We use the driveway for kind of to teach the dogs the angle and stuff like that. And, you know, if there was stuff in the way, then we wouldn't be able to accomplish what we needed. Impact on the parking area. The landscaping plan for the parking area also presents significant challenges. Again, with the amount of points they're asking for, we would have to have, you know, multiple trees, bushes, and stuff like that. As with other areas of the property, trees and shrubs in this zone would interfere with both hay production and training grounds. The landscaping debris such as leaves, sticks, and other organic material would not only be a maintenance burden, but it would also detract from the natural beauty of the property, which is an essential aspect of both the kennel's aesthetic and agriculture use. Another thing, and I kind of skipped over this because this is on the buffer zone, but as these trees grow and get bigger, the shade from the trees is also going to affect how we produce hay. It's not going to, you know, it's not going to allow sunlight to get to it. It's going to affect the production and so on and so forth. Those sticks also getting in the hay bales, you know, leaves, trash, it takes down on the quality. Foundation zone, we're happy to comply with that. This is views from the foundation zone, basically running a flower bed from the porch right there all the way to the back of the building. In closing, we invite you to visit our property and see firsthand the open natural landscape we are striving to preserve. We believe this approach aligns with the character of the surrounding area and respects our neighbors' views of agriculture fields and pastures. The additional landscaping requirements seem unnecessary and could detract from the rural aesthetic we and our community value. Thank you for considering our appeal, and we appreciate your time and understanding. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
We may call you back after we close public.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Anyone else to speak for or against?
Do you swear or affirm the information you are about to present to the Isle of Wight Board of Zoning Appeals during this public hearing is the truth?
Yes.
You will state your name and address,
Yeah.
please.
Dane Scott, 12535 Shallow Drive, Windsor, Virginia. I went aware this morning, I came, so not prepared, just some comments following what he said. I've had 3 dogs that have been heavily trained. I've actually trained my last one, and they're good. And I can tell you from training, I've been out there, the open areas, necessity. If you're putting trees and stuff, and I live in an area that's got wood spraying, and as good as he was trained out there going through, if my dog can get out in my yard in the field, we're going through without picking a stick every day, it's highly unusual. So if he's got any kind of trees or shrubs, and he just spent a month getting trained, he's gonna pick up a stick. So that's detrimental to what I've just spent a lot of money and time going through getting that done, and that's done. The building that's there, and I live about a mile from there. I go by there several times a week. I mean, it looks like an agricultural building. It's in an agricultural setting, which would be positive to the area. You stay there, the more you're putting up trees and landscaping stuff, it makes it look more commercial than what you're trying to do to keep the real character of the county. In my opinion, I think it looks more professional or more consistent with the area, the way it's set up now.
Thank you, Mr. Abbott. Anyone else speak for or against? Seeing none, close public hearing. Board members? Questions?
Yeah, I have a couple. My first question is, are there any other type of examples of, and this question is directed toward Ms. Rain, are there any other examples of a commercial operation like the similar that's on prior full agriculture that's running as a commercial business that has similar requirements and that they met, like as far as the road frontage and had to add trees and shrubs and so forth, that are in that rural area?
Yes, so the one that comes to mind most recently is the new Dardenham warehouse building on,
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green, thank you. Drew a blank. So that they are having to meet the same requirements because they are considered a commercial building versus regular agriculture.
If you would, bring up your presentation again. I got a question. I think it's on slide 3. Maybe it's 4. I'm sorry. Go back to 2 then. I'll try to. No, it's got to be. It was
Is
the
it a
other.
site plan?
No, go back. It was back at the early. Back one more. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
They weren't numbered, that's why I thought it was. It was the other it listed all the requirements, whether it was stormwater or whatever.
Yes.
My question is, have they met all the other requirements?
So once they didn't, requested, that we knew they were going to request a variance from the landscaping requirements, we advised them not to do any more engineering until they knew whether they had a variance or not.
Okay.
So at this point, it's still kind of mid-review.
So what else do they still need to meet?
So once they have the outcome for tonight, they are still going to have to finish their engineered site plan and turn that in for review and approval.
Which would include stormwater and everything else?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And they still need building permits too, from what I understand.
Oh, they haven't obtained the building permits?
No, I don't believe so. Y'all haven't gone through it with Mark, have you?
Y'all requested that we do this first, and the
Right.
only thing that I was told that we would have left to do would be the building inspection, and that was it after this.
You still have to do your site plan because it's not approved yet, so. You're brand new commercial use, so you still have to do your engineered site plan.
We just keep getting new things, I guess. When was this gonna be told to me?
You've been working with Sandy this whole time, and when you got your conditional use permit, it was told you that time.
Yeah, this is not the time and place for that discussion.
Okay. Sorry.
Ms. Sykes?
Well, I was considering the information that he was providing and the hardship that it would place on them to be able to maintain. So, and I was carefully considering that. No, I think he's provided all the information that I need as far as how it would impact the business.
Good.
But one thing I was concerned about, I know I saw it earlier in his documents, but I just got today, was the proper route taken as far as his kennel is concerned?
The proper route taken.
Yeah, as far as getting approval, because I thought it was something that was done later.
So no, he got a permit for an agricultural building that he started to use as commercial kennel. Someone complained,
Uses commercial.
a commercial kennel,
Oh, okay.
right. And so he came back in and got his conditional use permit through the planning commission and the board
Okay,
for approval.
okay, so we went through the proper process.
Yes,
To get that done.
after the fact, correct.
I have a question for the applicant. You can come forward. Prior to building the kennel, building the agricultural building, was the original intent upon construction of the agricultural building to actually eventually have a professional kennel business?
We had talked about doing it. We built the agricultural building in the first place, and then we decided to turn it into a kennel. So, you know, it had been talked about, but yes.
Sure.
We had
So
done
if
that.
I could ask you, how just curious what kind of volume you draw even out there? How many dogs do you train in a given time?
So we have a total of 34 kennels. You know, not all of them are full all the time.
Sure.
But we can hold that many. With that being said, when we air dogs, we let dogs out to go to the bathroom and stuff, we have 3 different airing yards. We allow no more than 5 dogs out at a time in an airing yard, and usually we're only using 2 of those at a time.
Is that like the chain link areas that
Yes,
I've
sir.
seen that on your website?
Yes, sir.
Took time to review some of this
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And then how long have you been a kennel now?
We moved in there 23. May of
Ballpark, so
23.
you didn't be exact.
Yeah, May of 23.
So I heard you speak a little bit on the hay exposure part,
Yes, sir.
or the hay part. So are you also an active farmer as well?
I have a guy who farms,
Okay.
that does the hay and stuff. Yes,
Sure.
sir.
Are you actively growing hay in that area?
Yes, sir.
Just on the inside of the fence?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and even part of what is considered the 2 acres that we have to have for this cut, we even cut some of that, you
Okay.
know, that is used for hay use.
Does the hay ever inhibit in your dog training?
It does at a time, when it, you know, we'll have about 2 weeks at a time when it starts to get too tall that I quit running through it because I don't want to mash it down.
Right.
But, you know, it's about 2 weeks, twice a year.
And then just to confirm, this is kind of an oddball question, but I've seen some of the pictures as I've researched this. There's at one point was a black statue of a dog
Yes, sir.
sitting at that corner.
Right.
Is that the exact same place you're planning to put the sign?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How big are you planning to put the bed at that corner?
Just rounding, I just want to dress it up to where we can make it look nice around the sign. Obviously, we got to be able to see the sign, but it's not going to be huge. It's just going to be, you know, I want it to look nice and, you know, go with the sign. But, and I know this doesn't have anything to do, I can't consider this a hardship, but just to give you all an idea, you know, we're a small business. I'm trying to build something. We're talking about, the quote that I got on this is $22,000.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, that kills me. You know, if we don't approve this, my question is, how long do I have to do this? You know, before, I mean, because that's a lot of money.
Right.
You know, so, you know, I keep everything out there. If you come by there at any time, it's always kept nice. The frontage zone, we keep mowed. I keep 1 strip around the whole fence, inside and out, mowed. Down the driveway, there's 1 strip, everything else is left for hay. And then we cut behind the kennel, and the reason that I do that is to make sure no snakes or anything get up there to the dogs.
So was that fence, the slat fence, was that in place prior to the kennel or after?
We put that in when we bought the property. So I bought it from my father-in-law and his brother. It was barbed wire fence, and then we ended up putting that fence up, and I spent a
Yeah.
just about that, you know, to put the fence in. So, I mean, we want it to look nice, and I want to keep it nice, but like, putting these bushes up, it's just gonna add, you know, it's not just the initial cost, but just the keep up of it, of trying to keep it up, because I'm particular about stuff like that. You know, I mean, that's the face of my business. I want it to look nice. And, you know, if I have to spend extra time out there doing that and extra money, then it takes away from the quality of the dog I produce as well, and, you know, and the hay product.
Are your dogs, are they used for, is it obedience training, is it hunting training?
We do both,
Okay.
so, yes, sir. And we do
Thanks.
boarding as well.
Thanks for sharing that, it helps a lot more.
Yes, sir. Any other questions?
Mr. Reed, I got one more question. You mentioned he didn't want to put the trees on the outside of the fence. Do we know what the fence is at? Could the trees go on the inside of the fence?
Sure, so I'll bring up the picture real quick. So the frontage zone is that area which is between the right-of-way and then the setback line. So in this case, it would be 85 feet from the center line of the road. So anywhere, load up here so y'all can see it. So he has the 60-foot setback line here, but it's actually 85 feet from the center line of the road because it's less than 50 feet.
Right.
So anywhere in this particular area, and the fence pretty much hugs the property line. So the trees could be planted anywhere in this area. Of course, you know, we'd have to respect where the drain field is and everything, but. And then we'd have to look at, he's talking about a sign, but that sign would be subject to setback requirements and size and height requirements as well. So I don't think there's enough room between, for a particularly large sign,
Right.
where he would like to put it here. So, because that's the edge of the back of the ditch is pretty much where the right-of-way line usually is. So you're looking about 10 or 15 feet there.
Members, any more questions?
No, all right, I'm just taking a look at a few things.
Ms. Sykes? Good. Any recommendations or motions? Um,
On this one, I'll say, I am definitely very aware and want to be respectful of our zoning ordinances and our code. We know that should rule most of all. Particularly what stands out to me also, representing Smithfield, is the agricultural exposure and how important it is. I've lived here for 25 years, and I can't remember too often of seeing an agricultural operation or an operation like this that has taken the time to put up a quality fenced environment and everything that then has a rustle of trees separating it from the road. These are comments among us. The quality of the construction of the kennel facility alone kind of speaks to the way, given it's been around a few years, which is why I asked, that it still looks that way. Having gone out and driven by it to take a look. It seems like a quality operation that's doing good things. The other side that I weigh on, wanting to keep the spirit of Alawai County, is the agricultural exposure that there is hay. Hay is a commodity and a lot of farmers use it, obviously in sale purposes. Trees are a detriment to that, as well as plastic bags and all the litter you can get with it. I think the fence looks nice, obviously, but will it always be that way? I don't know. I tend to, open for discussion, not making a motion at this point, but I tend to see a possibility of giving this variance, because I think it does create kind of an undue amount of financial cast out basically to fulfill a need, but again, I don't want to get outside of too much of ordinance. But looking at even the bid quote, whether it was included by the applicant or the county, I saw that that front run alone, what we're looking at right now, from there to the trees is $11,000. And it looks great the way it is. So that's kind of where I'm at as we begin comments, and I'll be open to making a motion eventually, but.
I would agree with that, other than if you look around every new commercial property that's been built lately, especially in Carrollton, you require to have a landscape plan and trees and shrubs. Now, does he need $22,000 worth of trees and shrubs? I don't know what the number is. Maybe him and the county can come up with agreement on a smaller amount. But I can't see not having any landscape plan at all. And he's still got to face other portions of this, to make it through the permitting process, as well as stormwater and some of the other aspects of this commercial business. And we're after the fact as well.
Sure.
I believe that at some point he needs to add some kind of landscaping plan. Does he need this many trees? I don't know. That's what it's called for, but maybe they can come to a compromise on the number of trees and shrubs.
Sure. Now that we're looking for a resolution, can I ask Ms. Rain, is that something that would be feasible to do, to come up with something that isn't as, I don't know how I say this. This isn't a business sitting on 17, which is still a great area, important. I'm with you on Carrollton, totally love it. But is that something that can be worked on? Is there allowed for that? Something different that can be presented and then be taken a look at again?
So if Mr. Bridges is willing to work with us, we can certainly take a look at, because being it was somebody else's project before it came to me, Sandy had before she retired. Not aware of the discussions on, what kind of flexibility he had. If he had a proposal, like I'm willing to do X and maybe reduce his various requests so that he's not asking 400% from everything, I think that, we could maybe then come back and re-advertise for a different amount.
Sure. Should the question I'm asking about is that?
I think if it was tabled, and there's a discussion, as long as he's not asking for less variance, then I don't know that it would need to be re-advertised.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to
So
be
he's
a
reducing
situation.
the impact.
If that applicant came in and then said, I want to do less than what I've asked for, that would require, but I don't believe it would require additional advertising. I think it could just be tabled and staff and the applicant work, and then it come back at your next meeting to say this is, he was asking for 100 foot or 100 points, and now he's going to do 250 points, and it'll be this specific.
So if I stay correct on what you're saying is, I would say, allow time for them to work, table it, and then revisit to see what kind of clarity we have for a decision.
I don't think it can be resolved by them working
Oh,
it
no,
out.
I
It
agree.
still has to be your decision that you would accept that. But yes, I think that is
And
perfectly
the applicant,
acceptable.
I think, would agree to try to work with Ms. Ring's office to come up with a plan, not what you've got now, not what's required now, but something. I don't feel comfortable telling your commercial business, you don't need to do any landscaping.
Right.
When every other commercial business right now has a landscaping plan.
I understand, and we're not asking to not do anything. Like I showed you earlier, we're providing landscaping around the foundation zone, and on the south side, that was, allowed for the trees, and then they were also asking, for the way I understood it, for the west and the north zone to have a buffer zone. Apparently, that is allowed. We're allowed to use those trees along the south, around the back, and then on the south side and the west side, we have trees right behind that. I don't know if we can consider those, because there's a ton of trees there. I don't know if we can consider those to be.
There again, I think you need to add some trees out to the road. I know you don't want to do that, but any other commercial business you ride by now, they've got trees.
This is just a question. What benefit does that give us?
It's
I just,
part of the ordinance.
I understand that, but
I guess my question to you is, do you want us to table this so y'all can try to work this out, or do you want us to rule on it now?
I kind of feel like that's up to y'all. I mean, I'm willing to work, but, you know, how do I know what they're gonna ask for, and then do we come back and discuss that again, and?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
and I guess to rephrase it as well, basically, I mean, would you like the opportunity to try and work this out and find a different resolution that would be
Right.
similar, but, you know, that kind of gets more towards the ordinance itself, because, you know, not that we can get minutiae, but we as the Board of Zoning
Yes,
Appeals, you know, we're held to what the law is.
Right, I
We
understand.
can look at a few little, you know, acceptances, variances, et cetera, but it's really important, because you can imagine what would happen to our community if you're just like, oh yeah, no problem, go ahead, it's a
Well,
one-off.
I understand
And then
that.
every other commercial business coming in here is gonna say, well,
Right.
you didn't require him to do anything.
Right. So,
That's where
so
we stand.
here's my question, and y'all may not even be to answer this, but like, how do we go about, so there's, you know, you have in town and stuff like that, and I know Windsor's out of the area, but if you go and look at Food Lion, right, in Windsor, go look at their bushes and what it looks like.
I know.
And it's
And they're
awful, and I know,
It's up to the property owner how they
Right.
wanna maintain their,
Right.
you know,
but,
landscape.
you know, I wanna keep my landscape maintained well. Does grass count towards those points?
No.
No, okay. Yeah.
So if you're willing
to.
to work with them, then we'll table this.
Yes, sir. All right. Guess we'll do that then.
Need a motion?
Ms. Ring, did you have something you wanted to add?
I mean, so just glancing at it, there is some room to work things out, because it does look like Sandy originally gave him points towards the fence, which reduced his frontage
Okay,
requirements, so. And it looks like he had enough points, staff did try to work with him to try and reduce the number of points that would apply here, like, I was discussing with him earlier, the number of trees that he has along the southern property line and wraps around the back into the ravine.
Right.
And the RPA area gave him enough perimeter buffer points that where he didn't have to plant a perimeter buffer.
and then is there a requirement on, and for most knowledge and for this case, is there a requirement on tree height, tree type?
So the only requirements we have are, 50% have to be native, and 50% have to be evergreen. So,
It's a list they can choose from.
Okay.
yeah, there's a.
Great.
While you all were talking about this, I'm thinking about it, I look at it, and it's rural, it's in a rural area. I know you still have certain requirements that have to be met. It's beautiful. And so, with that said, I'm looking at a hardship that it places on the owner.
I understand that.
And so then if we are willing to make some concessions, but
That's why I asked if we would table this to give them time to try to work it out.
the trees are a requirement.
As part of the landscape plan for commercial, yes.
That's just a matter of how many.
Right. And that's what I'm asking them to work out.
Yeah.
If we table it.
Yeah. So what if it's not, the decision's still not conducive to them? Yeah, because I'm still looking at, everything has to be maintained.
I have a
And
clarifying
that's gonna be
question.
additional cost for that.
The trees that qualify for points, now given credit for points for the trees across the backside and then as it twirls around the property. Can trees be added to that area and count as points?
They have to be located in the zone, so trees that are located in the buffer perimeter zone can't count towards your frontage.
All right, thanks. I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay.
I motion that we table this, given time for the applicant and the zoning officials to have a discussion, see if they can come up with something more reasonable that doesn't cause such a hardship, and revisit at our next meeting.
Second. Madam Clerk?
Vice Chairman Ross,
Yes.
Bill Yokel,
Yes.
Gwendolyn Sykes,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay. Ms. Raymond, bring this second public hearing tonight?
Sure. The second public hearing item tonight is a variance request with the application number BZA 25-7 at 82 Clydes Lane. The variance request is to locate a duplex manufactured home in an existing mobile home park. The applicants are Clydesdale Community LLC, who's the property owner. The tax map number is 4601049. The zoning is conditional plan development manufactured home park. The specific request is for a variance to section 4-16002, permitted uses, to allow the installation of one duplex manufactured home. This is a location map showing the property. It is running on Route 258 between the courthouse and Windsor. Right across the street are the Heritage Fairgrounds. This is the zoning map showing the conditional zoning that applies to the manufactured home park. The surrounding properties are all zoned RAC. The property is known as Clydesdale Mobile Home Park. It is approximately 54.8 acres with a total of 211 lots. The Board of Supervisors first approved a conditional use permit for the construction of up to 192 mobile home lots on October 4th, 1979, and then another 19 mobile home lots on October 2nd, 1986. The property owner applied for a Class B single-wide manufactured home in January of 2025. It was then discovered upon plan review that it was actually a duplex home, and duplex residences are currently not a permitted or a conditional use in the planned development manufactured home park district. Staff found that the unit had already been placed on site in July of 2025. At that point, we put a hold on all permits until it could be resolved. The applicant subsequently completed a variance application in November. Again, this is the specific variance request asking for a variance to section 4-16002, which is the permitted uses section of the planned development zoning district, in order to install the one duplex unit in the park. As I mentioned earlier, duplexes are not permitted either as a by right use or a conditional use in this particular zoning district. Only Class A, which are double wide, and Class B, single wide manufactured homes are permitted in this particular zoning district. At the time the ordinance was adopted in 2005, duplex manufactured homes were not even yet approved by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which only recently approved this type of housing unit in 2024, according to our building official. This is just a picture showing the outside of the unit, and the two red doors showing the two separate dwelling units on either side. This is a picture of one of the kitchens and one of the bedrooms. As we mentioned earlier, the Code of Virginia, as well as our zoning ordinance, requires us to make a particular set of findings. The staff went through and made findings that I'll share with you now. The property interest for which the variance is being requested is acquired in good faith, and any hardship was not created by the applicant in order to seek variance. Staff found that the property owner acquired the property in 2021. The property may continue to be used for up to 211 Class A or Class B manufactured homes. The owner's request to place a duplex unit in the mobile home park that is not permitted by the zoning district is a self-created hardship. The second criteria is that the granting of the variance will not be of a substantial detriment to adjacent properties. Although granting the variance may not be detrimental to the value and enjoyment of other nearby properties by allowing the installation of duplex manufactured homes, approval of the variance for this property would be granting a benefit not otherwise enjoyed by other mobile home parks. The third finding is that the condition or situation of the property concerned is not so general or recurring in nature as to make it reasonably feasible to formulate a general regulation to be adopted as a zoning ordinance amendment. Staff found that the variance request could be addressed by an amendment to the zoning ordinance to allow duplex residential structures in the zoning district. It is also possible for the property to meet current requirements. The fourth finding is the granting of the variance does not result in a use that is not otherwise permitted on such property or a change in the zoning district. The proposed variance would result in a use not otherwise permitted on the property. Next finding is that the relief or remedy sought by the variance application is not available through a special exception process that is authorized by the Code of Virginia or the zoning ordinance, or the process for modification of a zoning ordinance pursuant to the Code of Virginia at the time that the application was filed. The relief sought by the variance application is not available through a special exception process, nor is a zoning ordinance amendment currently under consideration at this time that would address this request. So based on the parameters set forth in the statutory and case law of the Commonwealth of Virginia, staff finds that the applicant has not demonstrated that the strict application of the current zoning ordinance would impose an undue hardship by preventing the use as a manufactured home park. As such, staff recommends denial of the proposed variance.
Open a public hearing. The applicant like to come forward and speak. Madam Clerk?
Is there anybody else wishing to speak that wants to take the oath at the same time?
Yes. I can do that, so
Do you swear or affirm the information you're about to present to the Isle of Wight Board of Zoning Appeals during this public hearing is the truth?
yes.
Yes.
State your name and address, please.
Tammy Newsom, 18004 Lion Pine Road, Franklin. I'm the manager of Clydesdale Community.
Okay.
Clydesdale filed this variance to allow the installation of a HUD-approved single-wide manufactured home, which is specifically called the Blue Ridge Duplex Series, which is a 16-wide by 76-long home. Under Isle of Wight's code, this home qualifies as a Class B HUD-approved manufactured home. That is permitted within the manufactured home parks in Isle of Wight County. The Duplex Series is brand new. It's an innovative manufactured home design that did not exist when the code was originally written, which is why we asked for the variance. The Blue Ridge Series is a 16 by 76, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, HUD-approved manufactured home. It's designed as 2 separate living units within one structure, commonly known as a Duplex Series. Despite its innovative layout, it remains a single-wide Class B HUD-approved manufactured home and fully complies with HUD standards. This presents several valuable affordable housing opportunities, including but not limited to housing for families seeking in-law suites, allowing a parent to live independently while remaining close to a caregiver, affordable independent living options for adult children or family members, or investor ownership that can have 2 separate units for 1 lot rent, thus affordable housing. These options directly support the growing need for affordable housing solutions within Isle of Wight County. It is a major need for affordable housing. Notably, this home was showcased by former Governor Glenn Youngkin at the Governor's Housing Commission in November 24, where he emphasized the importance of innovative housing solutions such as this and expressed strong support for this type of affordable living options. For these reasons, we respectfully request that Isle of Wight County grant the variance necessary to allow the installation of this Blue Ridge Duplex Series. Approval of this variance would position Isle of Wight County as a leader and trendsetter in innovative and affordable housing solutions, not only in Virginia, but nationally, because this is a brand new home. Thank you for your time and consideration. I hope you will work with us and grant this variance.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else?
Yes. Hi, my name is Lisa Waits. My address is 2710 Central Freeway, Wichita Falls, Texas. I'm a regional manager. I flew out here for this because this is just critically important for what we're trying to do with affordable housing in all of our communities. Didn't have the layout there, but this is a demonstration, and I brought extras to pass out. This is 2 single-wide, HUD-approved manufactured homes. They're both the 1676, both have 1,178 square feet. One of them is a duplex, but it is a HUD-approved manufactured single-wide home. And so it's kind of hung up on the word duplex, but all we're asking for is the installation of a single-wide manufactured home, which is what we're granted as far as for our property and what we have there. I can pass letters out or I can read them, but I have a letter from MHI, the Manufactured Housing Institute, that worked with HUD to get this model approved and pushed through and get it regulated so that it is HUD approved. Teresa Payne worked with Cavco, which is the manufacturer, and the engineers to get this pushed through and get it done so that we, not just we, but the manufactured housing industry and manufactured parks have this ability for more affordable housing options. If you want me to read the letter, I can, or I can pass them out. It's up to y'all.
Was this letter that was presented to Ms. Rain, was it included in our packet? We do have a letter that's from.
You have one from her, but this is one that was done since then.
Okay, just leave us a copy.
Okay. You can have that one. Do you need one, Tam's got extras?
I don't know, would you want to ask me to each of them?
Oh, yeah, she's getting the extras there. And I think a lot of the confusion was just because of the word duplex, and it's new, but the overall concept is the same. They are both a single-wide manufactured home, which, according to the specifications, would be a Class B HUD-approved single-wide manufactured home. So I'm not sure that we would even need the variance if we were going by the original code that we would install all the other homes with, because it is a Class B single-wide. It just has 2 living units in one.
Anyone else wants to speak? Come forward.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Randy Grumbine. I represent the Virginia Manufacturing Modular Housing Association. I'm based out of Richmond, Virginia. I just wanted to be here to be a resource for you and answer any questions that you might have as an industry representative. The folks from Clydesdale properly presented the issue in front of you, so they're not looking to expand the footprint any greater than they would already be allowed. They're not adding additional bedrooms. It's a 3-bedroom unit, 2 on one side, 1 in the other. So for those reasons, I would ask you to support the variance, and again, I'll be available to answer any questions. The one thing I would add is, because of the duplex nature of this, it was recently approved by HUD. The setup standards are slightly different to accommodate that you have 2 separate living units. So this requires the setup crew to install a firewall. The firewall on the house itself has been completed at the factory, and the setup crew on site would have to extend that firewall to the foundation, to the ground, to prevent fire separation from both units, to protect the residents of one side if something were to happen on the other. So you are in uncharted territories. This is a new product that's come to the market. And so as the industry continues to innovate, you're on the cutting edge of that. So again, if you have questions, I'd be happy to be a resource to answer this for you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Glenn Crossan. I reside at 4929 Gardner Lane, Suffolk, Virginia. and I wanted to speak in favor of this. Anybody look at your news feed, pick up the newspaper, we're in a housing crisis, and actually affordable housing crisis. And, you know, density and affordability go hand in hand. And because your land, your amenities, your utilities, everything, it helps bring the costs down so that more people can afford those types of environments or homes. So if anybody rides right down 258 and see what this group has done with that mobile home park, you know, they're cutting edge, because if you went back 10 years, what it looked like to what it looks like now, and I'm sure they're going to handle this in the same manner. And like I said, you know, if it's not allowed now, it needs to be. But if you look, recently it was in the newspaper, the city of Hampton, they're allowing accessory structures to be built and then to be habitable because of the housing crisis. So this is just, you know, Alawite County's got a fair amount of mobile home parks, and I think this is just the next thing. And so I would like for y'all to consider it, and I think it would be good for the community.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Good evening. Dane Scott.
State your name again, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's right. Dane Scott, 12535 Charlotte Drive, Windsor, Virginia. I'm here to speak in favor of the process. I'm a local real estate broker with Scott & Associates, speaking on behalf of my firm, numerous clients, as well as tenants. I'm also here as a real estate investor. I've been in the real estate business and been actively involved in the family business for over 36 years. When I found out about the project opportunity, which I think is really what it is, an opportunity, I was happy to hear about it and excited. Our firm and I manage about 350 rental units, own and or manufactured units. They have always been rentals, need for rentals. Unfortunately, since COVID, there have been some legal challenges put thousands of landlords in a very bad position where the government allowed tenants to remain in property without paying rent. Due to this, when COVID restrictions were finally over, several landlords had no choice but to sell the property to recover from that. Others felt the need to increase the rent to cover the losses. Then the lack of rentals, due in part to demand, supply and demand, has made it more difficult. The price has increased and made it less affordable. So there's not much property for rent as there was previously because of that. I'm not sure most of you there's a great need for affordable housing. I can tell you we get multiple calls a day looking for rentals. A lot of them simply do not qualify for what the rent is, for what the most markets are, and what most units are going for. I can tell you the number of tenants that are struggling, and unfortunately enough, the struggle we manage actually have to come in and pay weekly, bi-weekly, or whatever, because they can't pay what the market rent is for most things. So having something that's affordable is no longer what used to be affordable. Just a lot of expensive things going through. So they're not high-end rentals, but the market that is available needs some things with increased taxes and insurance. People have to increase what the rents are, which has made them less affordable. I applaud Claude Clydesdale staff and owners for taking on this and trying to offer as an option. Not only does this seem well fit for the need and push from national, state, and local officials, but is also very innovative to the manufacturing home industry to design a product to fit this need. Not only does it help the affordability issue with splitting up the lot rent, there are other benefits, as Tammy said earlier. But several instances where family members can't live alone for financial and health reasons, they're looking for something in assisted living and nursing home fields. They find that it's $7,000 a month to live there, which they can't afford, and it also takes all the life savings to ones that do have the funds to do so, and goes it's just a way of spending their life savings and working. Then the way the family members are not with them, they're not there next door where you can check on them, take care of them, and still live independently. Looking over the plans, it offers a one-bedroom unit. Basically, I have no idea how many demand it is for one-bedroom units. A lot of people are looking for things. One bedroom is very, very rare, and it's hard to find, but that would give one alternative we didn't have and have that. You can actually have both parents living next door in the one-bedroom unit or some variation of. It'll help them financially. It'll also be a situation where a parent could live in the one bedroom and the children could not afford to live somewhere to start their own, go out. So the parents were there to give them some support to allow the children to get on their own and build up to get to a larger thing. the children to get on their own and build up to get to a larger thing on their own. I can think of all the positive press, for lack of better words, a feather in the hat that Alawite County could have to be the forerunner of such a great concept. Localities do not always get good press, and it's not only would be good press, but also good for the state and national as well. This is already a Class B approved manufactured home, which is allowed in Clydesdale. I'm not really sure why there's so much held up on where the duplex, when it can look visibly as good, the same footprint, and if you've seen the photos that, and they've got some sketch going through, the outside or exterior is much more appealing than your average house. That's easy.
Okay.
But that's a very attractive looking house. I mean, that's something that, I mean, you're gonna make the headline in some newspapers, and, I mean, it shouldn't be all things to go to something that you're trying to do to help the crisis that has already been mentioned going through. So if you have any questions, be glad to answer as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Anyone else want to speak for or against? Seeing none? Close public hearing. Board members?
The first thing I thought about when I looked at this is that, you said this is, and I'm not familiar with the trailer court and so forth. You said, so my first thought was, what's existing there? I mean, would this seem out of place with what's already there?
No. Here, let me pass these out. These are the floor plans side by side that,
Single.
yes, they're basically single wide, and so it would be the same as any other units there. It's not going to stand out. It's aesthetically, it looks the same as any others that we have in there.
So do we have, in this particular trailer park development, trailers that are this big as this duplex?
Yes, ma'am. We have several 1676 in there. We've already installed several 1676 homes. It's the same size as others we've put in. The only difference is that it does afford 2 living spaces instead of 1.
I got a question for the applicant. Where's lot 82? Because I've looked on the map here and I find an 82, but it's not on Clyde's Lane.
It's on Clyde's Lane.
It's not on this map then, right?
It was on the map that she showed earlier. If you'll pull it up, I'll be glad to point it out.
Because what I see, it goes down to 91, and that's the last number I see on my paper anyway. I was just curious where 82 was.
And I can point it out pretty much from that area. That's good. 82 is going to be approximately right here.
Yeah, because that's all farm map. It's not on our map that we have. Ours only goes down to 91. How many,
This is actually, the office is 100. So this would be
yeah, because all I see is
98, 96,
116 is the last one, and 91 are the last ones we see.
But it's on this, and there are homes of that same width and length, give or take a foot or two, depending on setbacks on that street.
How many open lots are in there now?
11?
Yeah,
11 open spaces now?
Yes. Not all of our lots will accommodate the 1676. Some of our others that we just placed on order will be coming in at 1656 or 1666. And so any lots that are large enough, that's why we took this one, because it would allow extra housing in there.
And meet the current setbacks.
Yeah, and meet the current setbacks.
Mr. Yoker, any question?
Some comments.
I've got a question for the gentleman. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name.
No.
It's okay. It's Randy Grumbine, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna give my range.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I'm not even gonna try to murder that last name. So this is all new to the industry. How many do we have out in our state, do you know? How
This
many
is
been built?
One.
Well,
This is
the
it.
first
This
one?
is the first
Oh, wow.
one.
So HUD approved first, multi-section duplexes. You can do up to 4 and still be considered single-family housing. And
Wait, what do you mean by that?
it's still considered, it's not multifamily. So even under federal definitions, anything that's 4 or less is considered single-family.
Per unit or per park?
Per unit.
Oh, okay.
Per unit. So, so they first approved a multi-section with a firewall down the middle. Then they expanded that to a single section, the Class B home that you're looking at in this situation, where the firewall is built with integral within that one single section unit. So this was just approved. I don't quote me on the exact time, within the last 2 years.
What I read online was January 24, I think was the first approval
That sounds,
with HUD.
that sounds accurate, and I work closely with Virginia Housing, and we had the Governor's Housing Conference at Virginia Beach. They asked to present an innovative product there for the governor and to present to the public. And I encouraged them actually to take this duplex home there, since Virginia, the first ones made in the country were made at the Rocky Mount plant in Rocky Mount, Virginia. The first ones they did were taken to the National Mall in DC to show Congress. And those homes ended up in Pennsylvania in a manufactured home community. And so this was the first single section one that was built the following year. That was brought to the Virginia Beach Convention Center to display there. And the home then traveled from there to Clydesdale, where it's basically sitting in storage right now, if
Yes.
I understand correctly. So it hasn't been officially placed, it hasn't been set up yet.
Right.
They didn't dig footers or anything yet, that they applied for the permit, and that's when we ran into a hurdle.
Well, yeah, this is all new to everybody, including
Exactly.
our ordinances.
Yeah, so that's why I said you're in uncharted territory, don't feel like, so it is a new product that we're still, jurisdictions are trying to find their way with that.
Workforce housing or affordable housing.
Correct, exactly.
And we struggle with that in this county. I know we talk about it a lot, but we don't know the answer to it, so we just talk about it.
The benefit here is you get 2 families to live in the same space, that it would require 2 separate lots.
Right.
This innovation obviously is trend-setting completely. Full disclosure for you guys too, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a 20-plus year licensed insurance agent. I've insured most of the mobile homes in Clydes over the years, here and there. So I'm very familiar. To answer the question, is this a standard size? Yes. This is one that's even kind of just your normal size. They make them bigger. I have a question for you though, and just for knowledge's sake, future-wise. Is there an innovation, you talked about the firewall down the middle, is there an innovation or application that could go both straight down the back wall and the cross-section wall and create a quadplex? 4 units of one, is that something that's on the horizon?
Yes, sir, it is.
Because that would be single family, it's only 4 units, much like some of the senior living that we see. Okay. Yeah, okay, thank you very much, that helps me.
And one other innovation that's taking place is the removal of the frame. So that's taking place federally, and as it does, we'll change our codes in Virginia to that definition, so we don't have to come back before you for that. Thank you.
Can you see my computer? This is just for us. No, you guys aren't missing anything. Can you see that? Okay. This is prior to them taking over. I just kind of cut this. And I'm going to click it. It's going to jump from early 23 to just months ago. This is what it looks like. You can see, right? Jump out here. Here's what it looks like now.
Definitely got improvements out of it.
Park on, and I noticed this down here, they have put in crossing bridges and that just it helps me understand the quality of this, because that's something that's always bothered me over the years, is just that level of, everyone's at different socioeconomic places in their life. And that family that's just having a survivable income deserves to have a wonderful place to live. And they have the same type of exposures that we have with elderly parents and things like that. So that was a neat thing to think about this duplex situation. And we say duplex, it's not. It's a combined family living, single unit. I think that's kind of a better way to look at it. I think it's a great quality product. It looks wonderful.
And things are changing every day, the needs of people.
Is this the point for us to be discussing, or are we still on open session?
No, we're still discussing.
Okay. Yeah, and the other, as I see, as we all keep our finger on the pulse of our entire community, including our board, our planning commission, and hearing our most prominent businesses in Isle of Wight, is this, you mentioned it, housing for our working population. And it's something that's really important. I think it's a great product.
Mr. Ring, I had a question. Why was this listed as a double wide when technically it's still a single wide? Or why was the application listed it as a double?
I had to go back and take a look at the actual application.
I guess because it's double unit maybe, I don't know.
No,
We did it as a single, I think the word duplex
Duplex
is what
threw the
stopped it.
kink in every.
Through the hurdle and everything,
Right.
yeah.
because our ordinance defines two independent detached dwelling units as a
As a
duplex.
duplex.
Ah, okay.
And duplexes are not included in that zoning district.
Right.
But that's something that the county could consider in the future is adding.
Yeah. You know as well as I do, we struggle with workforce and affordable housing in Allied County.
Right.
And we talk about it, but we can never figure it out. This may be something that'll help anyway, I don't know.
This is innovative, it's something new.
Yeah, it's new, it's not in our ordinance. And,
Yeah.
well, that's why we're here.
And this specific variance request would apply just to the one duplex unit, and any other future ones, and until such time as we change the ordinance,
Right.
would be required to come in and do the same process.
Maybe that's something we need to discuss.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something we should be moving towards.
Okay. Any other comments, questions, motions?
I do have a comment on that, even though this time classified.
I'm sorry, man, we closed the public
Oh,
hearing, I'm sorry, you can't.
I didn't read it.
So, I'm just reading point 5 again from the county. The relief sought by the variance application is not available through a special exception process, nor is zoning ordinance amendment currently under development for consideration that would address the request. That just raises kind of what you just said too. That's something to be thinking about, because this is great, right? This is a good thing, in my opinion.
I agree.
And I will say also, other things that I do in the county, I'm involved in other issues. And I can remember specifically receiving a documentation letter from former Governor Youngkin talking about this specific product and how we can see this as just being revolutionizing the rural and agricultural areas where we have a lot of businesses that need a lot of workers, but not a lot of houses, like warehouses and factories, or pig plants.
And that's the problem, we have some jobs here, but people can't afford to live here.
Correct. I'll make
Anybody have any questions for such? Comments?
I actually make the motion based on the evidence we've seen, things we've heard, the positive impact that it can make to our community. I would move that you would allow the variance and allow this to be the first one in Ottawa.
Madam Clerk?
Bill Yoakum,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ross,
Yes.
Gwendolyn Sykes,
Yes.
motion passes.
Moving on, old business? Would y'all look at your diagrams back?
Those look like,
Unless you want to keep.
they look like the expensive copies, we should have them back.
We can keep one
Keep one
copy
copy
for the record.
Do you have a copy?
Not of the large ones. Thank you.
I think we have. Old business, new business?
One comment I want to just put on this, I would like to thank Ms. Ring and her office for doing all the work on preparing this for this particular thing. Under the recommendations, I applaud her for being totally true, obviously, not honest, but righteous and ethical to follow what is there for her to do. And having just know her in general, I think the positive impact this will have will be a good thing. So I don't want that in no way that we in any way disagree with what was recommended.
Absolutely.
Well, because when I first looked at it, I was trying to agree with manager with everything about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Her and her
Going
staff
forward.
always together.
That's right.
Adoption of the minutes from our November 3rd, 2025 meeting. Any motion to approve those?
I'm gonna look at the approved as read.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye, yes.
Yes.
Adoption of the annual report.
So the annual report was attached to your agenda package. You all heard 3 cases this year. 2 appeals and 1 variance request. The 1 variance request belongs to Mr. Ely, and he's still working on getting his site cleared, and we'll be reaching out with him and checking in on him periodically to see when he can come back in and pursue his request in front of you all with his updated plans. The other 2 requests were appeals of the zoning administrator's decision, which you both denied. We had a total of 3 meetings, and that pretty much summarizes the activities so far this year for the BZA for 2025.
It's been very exciting.
So if you all are okay with the annual report the way it is, you can approve it, and then we will include it in the next board's agenda and under their consent
Okay.
agenda.
I'm motion to approve it.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm motion to approve it in a report.
Yeah.
Second.
Bill Yoakum,
Yes.
Mr. Vice Chairman Ross,
Yes.
Winona Sykes,
Yes.
motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to pass around, Ms. Carr at the last meeting had mentioned drafting some language that would allow members, for certain reasons, to be able to appear electronically. So you'll notice, beginning on page 5, there's highlighted language. The bylaws require that you have these before you for at least 30 days before you take any action, so I'm getting them before you. The only other change to the bylaws is I noticed, because the bylaws have been in existence since 2015 without change, and you had 2 section Article 3s and 2 Article 4s that just bounced back and forth, so I cleaned up the numbering.
Okay.
If y'all just want to take a look at that at your leisure, and we'll bring it back at your next meeting for a more formal discussion, and I will email a copy to Mrs. Carr.
Thank you. Excellent. Another thing, Mr. Jones, would you put a bug in maybe, I think it's Mr. Garner's ear about appointing somebody to our board?
He's aware, and
Okay.
we've had on a number of items regarding appointments, we've had some pretty vigorous discussions recently, so I think we're going to see some movement.
As well, you know, it's hard sometimes when there's only 3 or 4 of us to make a quorum. Okay, election of officers. Sorry. Yes, we did. No, we don't for elections. We don't for elections. Election of officers? Okay, so Ms. Carr, our chairperson, is not here tonight. I am the vice chair, and I guess we'll open the floor to nominations.
Open the floor for nominations for the position of chair.
Stay with
We can nominate Ms. Carr, but she's not here, correct?
That's correct.
I would nominate Ms. Carr.
I will second the nomination of Ms. Carr.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Sykes, you vote yes?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yes.
Okay. Open the nomination for vice chair.
Same.
I motion that it stays the same.
I don't know if I like that or not.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And we have to do our secretary as well.
Secretary, it's for the first time in a long time you have to make a decision that's not Sandy.
Yeah, that's right. I would nominate Ms. Bass as our secretary.
I will second that nomination.
All in favor?
Yes.
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 You're stuck with us.
Thank you.
Okay, another motion to adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Did I?